it's a constant concern out there with all the changes happening in financial markets and the stock market. And the question always is, what's going to happen with the market? Hi, this is Brian Eisenhower, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the real estate market in light of what's happening with the coronavirus. I'm getting a lot of questions. We're getting a lot of questions from our coaching company. All our coaches across the country are working with all our clients across North America, and it's a constant concern out there with all the changes happening in financial markets and the stock market, and as more and more people are sheltering at home and practicing social distancing, and the negative fallout with regards to the economy, people in the real estate industry are concerned, what's going to happen and what's going to happen with the real estate market. In fact, we're getting questions from people, outside of the industry, wondering. We've had a couple of media networks contact me today and trying to find out what's happening, in real estate and in light of all this. And the question always is, what's going to happen with the market? The answer is kind of confusing at that point, because the market itself needs to be defined. And I've said this for years. People ask, how is the real estate market? And it really depends on what type of market you're talking about and what you mean by the market. Because I think we're going to be in a situation where, depending on what you're talking about, it could be good or bad, right? Let's first talk about the real estate market that I think the public wants to know about, or should want to know about. Like, how's the real estate market? What they usually want to know is our housing values or prices going up or down? Right? That's number one. I think right now, and even for the foreseeable future, I expect housing prices and values to go up. And that's quite simply because of housing supply. Supply and demand controls. And I do realize we're going to have some hits to demand here, because people are going to lose their jobs. There's going to be some financial uncertainty. People are going to lose a lot of their value that they have in the stock market. So they're going to have less money to put down and feel less comfortable buying a house. So demand's going to take a hit. And that's always the case. But you're also going to see a lot of people shift out of the stock market, out of other investments, into the safety of real estate. And that's already happening in big numbers, from institutional buyers like hedge funds and real estate trusts, and moving all of their money into the real estate market. And those people don't just buy one or two houses. Those are people buying hundreds and thousands of residential doors out there. So you're seeing them move into real estate, which is just increasing demand. Then what's even more important, though, than demand is supply. Real estate supply, before the whole coronavirus crisis started, was at historic lows. We had almost no housing inventory, nothing to buy. In most areas of the United States and Canada, if you were a buyer, you were fighting to get a house. You were putting in an offer with multiple offers. There was just no inventory to begin with. Now, that's even getting worse, because and as we're doing more and more social distancing, less homeowners are wanting to sell now, so they're keeping their houses off the market. You're just going to see a tightening of inventory there, where less and less supply is on the market despite this demand we talked about. So that supply and demand just stays out of whack, and as demand increases, it's always going to drive up the supply. And as the supply continues to decrease, as we get deeper and deeper into this crisis, with less and less people wanting to let people in their homes by putting it up for sale, you're just going to see prices drive up. So that's why when we talk about that type of real estate market, the one the public's more interested in, it's going up. Now, there is a second market that we as real estate agents and professionals and broker owners and team leaders need to remember and consider here. And that's the market around sales volume, right? The amount of sales volume that is transacted, right? Because that can actually be very different. In all likelihood, as we move deeper and deeper into this crisis, there will be less and less sellers putting their houses on the market. And because of that, there is less opportunity for buyers to purchase them. And if that gets very, very low, because people choose social distancing and choose to kind of hole up into their homes until after this is over, there's only so many homes they can purchase, which means there's going to be less sales. And that means the sales volume is going to drop, which means the total amount of commissions that are available for real estate agents to earn is going to be reduced significantly. Less commission dollars means less income during this short period, right? So, and that's the reality of this. We have to remember that the market can be going up with regards to prices, but for sales volume, it can be very low. And it's really easy to see how that works. If you take a neighborhood of like 1,000 homes, right? And you have one house that goes up for sale, maybe a high price. And then you have 3 or 4 buyers go after it, and one of them buys it at a nice high price. Now we have a comparison sale that appraisers can use that will actually increase the value of all the homes in that neighborhood. So now the home values and prices in that neighborhood have increased, yet only one sale was conducted in 2 months, let's say. Okay, so volume's down. Agents that are making a living in that area are not making much money, except for the one guy who sold the house, maybe the buyer and the seller side of it. But home values are still going up. So price is going up, but volume's going down. And that's kind of what we're looking at. It's very different than what happened in 2007, 8, and 9. We actually still had a lot of sales. People were selling lots of REOs, foreclosures, short sales. People were panic selling. It was hard to sell listings, but there were, because there weren't that many buyers, but there were so many listings, there was a lot of fuel in the fire still. Buyers were buying up investments, flippers were buying up properties, so there's still lots of commission changing hands. This is a little bit different because there's just less inventory. So less inventory means low sales volume there. And that's why we're really working with our clients at Eisenhower Coaching Consulting to make sure that, income could be strained over a 2 to 5 month period. So we really need to cut our excess expenses. Don't make the big purchases, cut out vacations maybe at the end of the year. And we're gonna have to double down on work. We're gonna have to generate a lot of leads over this period of time so that when people do peek their heads out of their houses again and we do list houses for sale, we've got huge pipelines full of listings and buyers. We may have a very slow spring and summer, but we really wanna have a very record-breaking late summer and fall because we've built up such a pipeline due to the low sales volume industry that we've been in the meantime. So really important to keep that in mind. Know the difference between the industries because you're going to hear a lot of misinformation out there, and so are your clients. Like, it would not surprise me, in late spring, early summer, for the media to start saying the real estate market is crashing because sales are low. And the public's going to hear that, right? The public's going to say, oh, wow, the values are crashing. It's a terrible time to buy. Well, no, that's sales volume that's low. There aren't a lot of sales, but believe it or not, your values are up. You can still get a lot of home, get a lot of money for your sale of your home right now. And if you buy a house, it's still safely going to continue to go up in value. So we as realtors have to really make sure we understand that difference because the media doesn't. They're terrible at that. And we've seen that many times in the past, and we're about to see it throughout this summer because they're confusing the two types of markets we talk about out there. Okay, so I hope that helps, knowing a sales volume market versus a housing price market are two different animals. Let's know the difference so we can keep our clients informed. Thanks.